Hi guys, it's a misty, moisty morning for prediction of heavy rain later, but I'm going for my wander in the woods. It's been a while guys, there's plenty of news to catch up on, plenty of things that I have been doing and that I plan to do. I'm here and I've still got my little doggy with me, if I can find him. There he is, Alfie the Wonderhound, or Cockatdale Terrier as they were originally known. So I'm going to have a wander and we'll see what there is. So catch you down the line guys, and catch you in a few moments. Well guys, this is what autumn's all about. Gathering fungi and other fruits of the forest, elderberries, rowans, rosehips, crab apples, feral apples, all sorts of and all manner of wonderful things. It's a bit slug eating, but there's still some meat on this and it's going to be prove pretty tasty when I chuck it in my dinner tonight. Catch you a bit. Yep, it's a bit dark this morning, but it's wonderful. Anyway, I'm carrying on to where I'm gonna have a cup of tea and a brew. Well, there you go guys, fine example, hen of the woods, quite tasty. In Japan it's known as mitsuki. There was one there last week, I picked it and it was very tasty. And if I swan around here, there's an amanita. What we'll do is we'll get on and we'll examine this. And let's have a look. Right, we've got a, whoops, sorry about that. Right, we've got this amanita. Right, you can see the ring from its veil. Most of the veil's gone off the top. If I scrape away, you can see the vulva down the bottom there. I'm not sure, this could possibly be a citrina. I was admonished by someone the other day about picking the fungi, all of it, but without picking the whole of the fungi, you would not know what this was. So there's a vulval sac, which it started out as an egg. It's grown up, and you've got the collar there, which was attached to there. Now if this had been a fly agaric, it would have been nicely red over the top, possibly with little white spots, depends on how much it's rained. But there you go, an amanita. Well there you go guys, the ubiquitous fly agaric. Not too far away from here is its symbiont plant, the birch. This one I think is generically known as witch's butter, but I'm going to look this one up. It's definitely a cup fungi of sorts, and it's on a piece of sycamore, not a sycamore, oh the other one, chestnut, sweet chestnut. There we go. Well guys, there we go, Fistulina hepatica, the beefsteak fungus. This is growing on a piece of sweet chestnut. It primarily grows on two types of tree, the sweet chestnut and the oak. This is gorgeous, it's almost like eating beefsteak itself. It is wonderful. I had some earlier in the month and I was quite overcome by the taste. It really is good. I'm in two minds whether to pick this. I might pick this actually and take it home and cook it down with the bolete that I've got there, a little penny bun. And there's a lot of amethyst saivas around here. I'll go through those in a bit. Well guys, something I knocked up this morning and just before I came out actually, it's a type of weenie hammock for storing gear in. I'm a bit more on that later, but it's working quite well. And it packs up quite small. Couple of prusik knots either end, and obviously carabiners so I can hook them over. And it's amazing what you can do with a bit of burnt tarp. Yeah, so I swing around. There's my faithful little hound there. Alfie. Wonderful little dog. Well guys, it's been a while, hasn't it? We've not been idle, well a little bit idle, but work's got in the way and I've been out on various trips. I'm not sure when I did the last video, but I can recount 3 trips. An axe workshop, which I put a hole in my leg. A Scottish trip up to Kentra Bay in Scotland, a week up there, and just recently the autumn harvester. All 3 were very good. I say when I did the axe workshop, I managed to put a knife into my leg. Not too much damage. The whole length of the blade of a slide knife, which is about 2.5 inches, went straight into my leg. Right on the final day, almost the final hour of the workshop. It was tiredness really, and over familiarity. It was a good lesson on being careful with your sharps. Scottish trip, great, that was really good. And again, the autumn harvester was good. So let's go back to the beginning. The axe workshop was a day longer this year and it was very good. Held another axe, made a buck saw. Yes, I did do a video on that. I can remember filming the buck saw. Great trip. Good time of year. Lovely Friday night. Air as still as anything. Went for a swim in the tarn and what have you. A few weeks after that, we was up to Scotland for a week. And that was the coastal forager. And that was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. The only downside was because of the extremely good summer we had this year, all shellfish was off the menu apart from winkles, limpets, whelks, because they're grazers. All the bivalves are filter feeders and there'd been a red tide, which means that they would have stored toxins up, or the possibility of storing toxins. So all the bivalves, things like queen scallops, oysters, mussels, cockles, off. But it was a good week. Plenty of fishing in, plenty of seaweed, and a wonderful fungi forage. It was great. We had I had a bit of a ticky experience there. We was out doing a fungi forage. We went straight through a set of deer lays and these phragmites, and it was just full of ticks, and everybody just got ticked. And so I spent the rest of the evening picking the little buggers off. It wasn't so bad. Got a few projects I'm going to take off of that, and I shall demonstrate on here through this medium. One is making a long line. Because I live about an hour's train ride from the coast, I may not demonstrate it, but I shall show you how to make the long line up. Also great on the fungi front. It was just started the fungi season, and saw plenty of wildlife. We saw the signs of otters. We didn't actually see any otters. I saw 2 sea eagles and some herons. Brilliant. And of course, you wake up out where I put my hammock. I was waking up every day. I looked out over the dunes and I saw the Isle of Skye, and I just saw the tip of muck and the tip of egg. Moved up the bay a little bit and you could see muck and egg. Wonderful. And the sea was as calm could be. Great week. The weather was perfect. One day of rain, I think, and it was only light showers. And then a few weeks later, which was not the weekend just gone, but the weekend before, I went on the autumn harvester up in the Lake District, going with the wood smoke. And boy, what a weekend. So much fungi, particularly hedgehog fungi. Loads and loads of it. the guy that runs the course took a load home to dry. We found some wonderful examples of seps. We had pigeon pie. Well, actually I didn't make a pie this time because I felt a bit carved out with the bannock of the morning. I made a pigeon casserole. We had made a terrine made a rabbit terrine. We had rabbit tom yum soup. Great. If any of you want these recipes, you know, just PM me through my Facebook page and I'll sort something out. But that was really good. May come back to the trips in future videos. As I say, I've just had a bit of a rest from doing the videos, and I've not been out in the woods as much as I'd like to have been. Though Avalon and I have foraged, we've been making plenty of preserves and what have you. We've even had a go at pickling some field mushrooms. And on that respect, it's fungi season. And it has been a really good year. As I'm sitting here now, I can look about me, I see some amanitas, I see a lot of amethyst and normal deceivers. Now the reason why they're called deceivers is not because they're poisonous, it's because they change colour slightly. I've picked a few of those. I've picked a nice, well, a reasonably nice sep. You'd have seen it earlier in the video. And there's some brittle gills and just a ton of other fungi around. And there's a hepatica, or Fistulina hepatica, beefsteak fungus, which tastes superb. Slice it thinly, put it in a pan, small pan, just cover it with water, a big knob of butter, and simmer it down so you've got a bit of a sauce and a nice reduction. Here's something to confuse the vegetarians. You could make a chicken, hedgehog and beefsteak pie and there won't be any meat in it whatsoever. So chicken in the woods, hen of the woods, hedgehog mushroom and beefsteak mushroom, all cooked like that. You can make that into a nice little pie. I've met one or two people that say, oh, you know, you mustn't pick too many fungi or she'll ruin it for next season and that. And there's always a usual one of people saying, oh, I won't touch wild fungi, I might poison myself. My retort is that you eat tomatoes but you don't eat deadly nightshade because you know the difference. Same family of plants are tomatoes, deadly nightshade and potatoes, but you eat the tomatoes but you don't eat deadly nightshade. And it's the same with fungi. Get to know your fungi. Some are very easy to know, some are a little bit more difficult, just a little bit more tricky. I would say the three to get to know really well are seps, chanterelle and field mushrooms. And it's been bloody good round here for chanterelles this year, really good. And talking about fungi, I'd like to highlight this little book that I've got. It's a fungal key. There's no pretty pictures in it. It's by Paul Nicol. If you want the address to get it, PM me please. And I think he charges about £5. At least this one cost me £5. And it's called The Initial Guide to the Identification of Mushrooms and Toadstools. And basically it's a set of drawings like that. And you work through the key and it tells you the species of fungi. Then if you've got a copy of something like Roger's Mushrooms, which is probably the definitive guide to get, you can marry it up with a picture in the book. Really good book. Great guy, you know, got two passions in life, fly fishing and fungi. And he is a really great guy. Also, on the picking and harvesting of fungi, there are unscrupulous people out there that will sweep the forest clean of fungi for commercial purposes. That is totally out of order in my book. Take what you need and no more. Obviously there are certain fungi, things like seps, that cannot be cultivated, but many others can. There was on the picking of fungi, there was a study done a few years ago where a group sealed off some woodland and they split the woodland in half, and one half they completely swept it of fungi. They picked every mushroom going. The other part they just left it, and bizarrely enough, the one that was technically overpicked actually fruited really well the next day. And there lies the crux of the matter. The toadstool, fungi, whatever you see above the ground is but the fruiting body. If you imagine the mycelium as being an apple tree, the fungi, or what we see, are the apples. Now you can pick all the apples off the tree and the tree doesn't die, and it's the same with the picking fungi. You can pick all the fungi, the mycelium won't die. It'll carry on. In fact, the biggest living organism in the world is a honey fungus in Oregon State in America. It's a wonderful pastime. It's great. I mean, this year's been pretty good. It's been a pretty good year. We've had a late winter, which incidentally killed off the cherry plums. We've had no cherry plums. I've had Victoria plums, I've had one or two feral plums, but cherry plums, none whatsoever. Good fruit otherwise. There's still some elderberries I've yet to pick, and I'm going to have to get my arse into gear and pick them. And other than that, it's been a very good year forage wise. I say, on the fungi front, 2 books to get if you're going to go into it with any sort of into any depth. That's that Fungi Guide by Paul Nichol, and also Roger Phillips's Mushrooms, which is a fantastic book, and it's probably the definitive book on the market. There are other books that are more specialised that just deal with certain species, and they're by Paul Kibbe, but they are very specialised books, and unless you're going into sort of fungi in an almost semi-professional basis, it's well, they aren't really worth getting. Got a few projects on the go. I'll be doing another camp setup video soon. My camp setup's changed slightly. The thing I showed you earlier, I'm including that, and I've made an underquilt for the hammock, and also this little beastie here, which is the string hammock, which is going to go underneath the main hammock as basically lifting things off the ground. I had a bit of a mouse incident on the autumn harvester. I had a collapsible bowl and the mice ate it basically. There was orange bits everywhere. I've changed my brew kit setup. I'm using this now. It takes 50 grams less tea than my Osprey cup, my military cup, and it keeps it warmer longer. It's just I just fancied a change, and this works really well. I might cut the handle off so it takes up less room in the rucksack, but it's proving very well. At least it keeps it warmer. It's a fact is the tea gets really cold quickly out here. A few projects for the winter sorting out. A little bit of spoon carving. Obviously more videos. Me spouting my views on the world. And also trying to get out a lot more. I did have a few months where I just wasn't getting out. Sometimes you just need a break. You know, life gets in the way. It's the good. Life gets in the way. The boy Mears published his autobiography. Should be good to read. I'm getting it for Christmas. And other than that, not a lot's been happening in my little world. It's just I've just been getting on with life. I've been trying to plan out stuff. I've been sorting the man cave out, and I'll be doing 1 or 2 little videos from the man cave, basically on projects I'm doing. I've made a rather nifty setup with a set of skewers for working beside a campfire or beside my fire pit. And what else is there? Not a lot else. I say it's a very sort of overcast and moist morning. The leaves are turning. I can see a young stripling birch there, and there's gold and there's green and there's light greens as I see that. In fact, it's turning out to be a fine autumn. This is a Keatsian type autumn, you know, a season of mist and mellow fruitfulness. Little Alfie's having a run around. I wonder what he's up to. Alfie! Yeah, he spotted something, I think. You know, it's a case of he'll sense something long before we even sense it. And I'm going to try and develop my tracking. Got some good courses coming up next year, which I've got to write to the guy to get some dates so I can get it all booked out. Other than that, guys, I'm going to sign off for a bit. I'm going to kick back, enjoy this, and don't forget, if you want a fungi key, that's the one to get. PM me for details of how to get this, because he hasn't got it on Amazon as yet. You normally have to send an email to him at his university address. As I say, guys, it's a wonderful moist day. See you in a bit.